Hello, Facebook world. How are you all today? I want to thank you for joining us in part two of the live conversations with CVN's outreach staff. This Facebook Live series is intended to show you that we are who we serve. Today, I join a few of my fellow military veteran outreach representatives from Cohen Veterans Network, who will also be joining me to talk about a few things regarding mental health today. And I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ron Coleman. I'm the outreach manager for the Military Family Clinic in Lakewood, Washington, and I'm joined today by Miss Natasha Walden and Taylor Poindexter. And so I will allow them to go ahead and introduce themselves. Natasha, take it away.
Well, like he said, my name is Natasha Walden, and I'm the outreach director at the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic here in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm also a Army veteran.
And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Taylor Poindexter, a U.S. Army veteran and the outreach manager for the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Red Rock in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I'd like to give a real quick shout out to all you Army veterans. Happy birthday to the U.S. Army and happy Flag Day to everyone.
Cool.
Yeah, you go, Army people. I love it. It's awesome. I'm all for it. Let's support the Army any way we can. Go Navy, by the way. I'm just going to let that out there. Right on. So before we get into the questions that we're going to be talking about today, I just wanted to let you know if you're on Facebook watching us live today, we encourage questions. We want you to participate. Anything that comes to mind that you want us to answer while you have us at your readiness, we'll be happy to take those questions and answer them as best we can. So with that, let's go with the first question that we have. Why does mental health matter? I'm going to let Taylor go ahead and answer this question, and we can all participate. If you guys have something you want to add to it, feel free. But go ahead.
Thanks, Ron. It is a really tough question, a very serious question. And I think being an Army veteran, as far as being a veteran, period, a lot of times we're taught that our mental fitness is part of holistic fitness, which is being physically fit, being mentally fit, being spiritually fit, and even being emotionally fit. And this fitness of being mentally healthy gives us the ability to be resilient and thrive and enjoy the quality of life that our veterans deserve and that our veterans need after accomplishing the difficult missions that were given to them by our nation. So getting them back to better, as we here in Cohen often mention, is a huge quality and a huge facet of their life, which we can help them get back to that normalcy that they are trying to achieve and build that resilience and fitness that they need to have a great life.
Absolutely. I concur. Natasha, what are your thoughts on this?
I think mental health really matters because it determines how you handle stress, how you relate to other people, and make good choices or make choices, period. Your mental health encompasses the entire facet of your being, like he said, emotionally, psychologically, and socially. And if you're not well in any of those areas, then that affects your entire life.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with what both of you have said. And I concur in the fact that, to me, mental health matters because it's one of you're not mentally healthy, the physical aspect of it matters not because you're not going to be 100% of who you can be and strive to be the best person you can on any individual given day. Everybody struggles with things day in and day out, and it's just super important to be able to sit down, take time for yourself, whether it be you're a house full of kids and you're at home, they're at school, and you need to pull away at the end of the day when they're having, TV time or study time or nap time or whatever, to get yourself just focused up and relaxed and enjoy and put into perspective what you accomplished that day and maybe what your next day you look forward to in the next day. So if you don't have that all there, like Taylor said, the holistic part of it all, and like you both mentioned, that if you're not mentally as well as physically healthy, then it's really a moot point. You've got to focus on both aspects, I believe, and that's my take on it.
And I believe also that the mental health for the veteran matters because it affects the whole family. So whatever issues that the veteran is going through, it translates in the actions of their families. So to get that individual or their families back to better is a great service that Cohen Veterans Network provide for the entire family.
Absolutely. 100% agree. And it's just one of those fortunate things that we have the ability to reach out and help family members because, being all of us service members, we've been deployed, we know we're not always around. And so having the ability for family members to get their mental health taken care of when we're not necessarily in the physical, that makes a huge difference for everyone. So it's a great service that CVN provides. And I'm very fortunate and I'm very honored to be able to be part of that as well.
That is so true because the service member may serve, but the entire family is their backbone that helps them do that. And so everyone in the family needs to have strong mental health.
Absolutely. And so that leads us to our next question, which is, why should veterans care about mental health? And we'll go ahead and open that up. And how about Natasha, you start with that one?
Veterans should care about their mental health because before there were veterans, they were just human beings to begin with. And we all have issues, but throughout life. But as a veteran, you may have even more issues because you're moving every 3 years. You may have to deploy, you're going to training. Your family may not look like everybody else's family because there's so many extenuating circumstances that come to play within your nuclei family. And so having a place where you can get help that is, evidence-based is really important. And I think trying to break down that stigma, and that's why we're out here talking about it today, is that, a lot of people feel like it's something wrong when you're not okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's just not okay to stay that way. And that's why the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic is such an asset to their veterans.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to point out a little bit that we had a survey back in May of over 2,000 U.S. adults that said nearly 2/3 of Americans believe that the majority of veterans actually experience PTSD. So that's one of the services and things that we treat. And so, being able to have that in, realizing that, 70% of the people that are suffering from that have an avenue and a place to go to is super important and just, absolutely essential to the mental health success of each individual. And so, Taylor, what do you think about this question?
Well, we train every veteran to be invincible. So imagine what our world would look like where we have veterans that don't continue to believe that and continue to strive for that. As we should care about our mental health because we're better spouses, we're better parents, we're better community members, we're better team members, we're better warriors. Every facet of our life that we've been taught growing up in the military is that you are mentally strong and you're out there to own and dominate whatever position that you are. There are no sideline players in the military. Everybody has a spot out on the field of battle. So even for those that are in and those that transition, to still maintain that mental toughness and that desire to be able to be out there and to be a great servant to those who have and continue to serve, and to be a great teammate to all the others. That's part of who we are. And for us to be on this team and to be able to destigmatize this thing that we all have to have is value added for all of us and for all of our veterans and their roles that they play in their families and their families in general.
Absolutely. And I think part of that is, the old cliche is your team is only as strong as its weakest link of a chain. And so I think mental health, if you are having issues where you need to, get yourself right and you're not right, and your leadership is not acknowledging the fact that you need that help, and not giving you the opportunity to do that. That stigma in and of itself has been well overblown. And I think it's just something that we need to take major attention to. And we need to say, hey, listen, your soldier, your sailor, your airman, they're no good to you unless they're 100% good to go mentally and physically. And so allow them to get the treatment that we need, that we can give them, we can provide to them. And that's what we do at Cohen Network. We do that. We provide services that really are helpful. And in this time of COVID, the other portion of that is that we do telehealth. So no matter where you may be located, you might not be able to physically get into a clinic, but we can certainly see you through telehealth and treat you and help you and move you along the way to get you back to better, like everybody's talking about here. So that's another great aspect of Cohen Veterans Network and what we can do to achieve a better result of your health, personal health and well-being for you, your family, and your caregivers as well. So absolutely.
And I would just say, before we take off on that point, you brought up a good point about the pandemic. And with the pandemic, over 14% of the households have lost income. And so with the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic, your ability to pay is never going to be a barrier to whether you're going to be able to be seen. So that's one of the great assets that we offer to our veterans and our community as a whole. And that is really important in this day and time.
Yeah, I know it's one of the other statistics I want to add on to that too. I know I keep talking about PTSD, but that's kind of a major important thing to be talking about. But 23% of people that are actually treated for our PTSD suffer from PTSD. 23% of all veterans suffer from PTSD. So, and they feel like it's not treatable. And unfortunately, that's a misnomer, because it is treatable. And it is something that, if you get to the right people and the right clinicians, you've got a chance to get yourself better. And we encourage you to do that. And one of the hardest things to understand is sometimes people have a tough time transitioning to say, hey, I need help. Where do I go? As many resources we provide and talk about and things that we try to put in front of veterans and service members to get help for, they mean nothing if you don't have the ability to say, hey, I need the help, and get, walk through that door and say, this is what I would like to, could you point me in the right direction at the very least, And so we have that. We have case managers at CVN. We have people that will put you in a great direction. We have clinicians who will take good care of you. And so I feel like we're a well-rounded, all-encompassing service that is definitely should be taken advantage of as much as possible. All right, let's see if we have one more question I think is going to get posed here today. So each one of us, we have our own thing that we kind of focus on as far as what we do for our own mental health and how we stay on top of our game. And I'll go ahead and try to start that transition and tell you what I do for it. I think for me, being able to separate the reality of when I deal with people on a day in and day out basis, when I come home at the end of the day, I like to just pull back, relax, shut the power switches off, and try to, not necessarily dwell on what I've gone through during the day, but just kind of take some time for me to breathe and understand that today's the end of a great day. Tomorrow's an even better day. Focus on the positives, learn from the negatives, the things that I can grow from and become a better person from, understanding that. But also, too, when there are tough times, and I've had plenty of them, so having served over 20 years in the United States Navy, you've got to understand that not every day is roses and all that good stuff. So I have sought my share of mental health counseling as well to get me to a place of better, and understand that I can't do it on my own. And I know a lot of people struggle with, hey, I can do this on my own. Like Taylor said, we're warriors. We can make everything happen. We can do it. It's not all about that. It's about support and having people underneath you that can say, hey, we're here to help. We're here to give you a different way to think about something. We're here to, make everything easier as best we can for you. And so to me, it's just taking that time to understand that there are challenges every single day and take them as they come, not get overwhelmed by them as much as possible, but understanding there are people that can help me if I need that. And that's kind of how I deal with it. So Taylor, Natasha, anything you want to say about that?
Oh, I think oftentimes we don't even realize that we are going through our own mental challenges. And when I transitioned out of the Army, I thought I had it all figured out. And what I found real quickly was that I lost my purpose in life, or what I believed that my purpose was in life. And, my challenge to all veterans that I meet is, how quickly can you regain that new purpose? And I think that helps me get after my own mental health. And luckily enough, I get to continue to do every single day those things that I did as a senior enlisted leader in the Army, which is help take care of veterans and their families. We just did it from a different aspect. We all wore the same uniform then. I also really strive to get out there and do those things that I like to do, like go to church, golf, participate everything with my family. We have such a great tight knit family, and almost all of us live near each other. We have one that's in South Carolina, but it's those things that bring you back to what you were saying there, Ron. That point at which you can find calmness, and that your mind can go to rest. And I think I strive for that often. And those are the ways that I get through it. You know, when I'm out there on the golf course, I think about nothing other than golf, and that mind is just clear and free. You know, so anyway, I think often enough that we never focused on it before because we didn't know some of the challenges that we have. But now that we're able to stand back and be part of this community, it gives us great focus and truly some different attribute or ideology about, you know, what taking care of your own mental fitness is all about.
Absolutely. I think that that's a super great point. It's just, you know, it's individualistic, right? You've got to find your happy place. You've got to find what makes you tick. And so I'm just looking at some of the comments in the chat, and I see that Amanda's out there saying how grateful in Oklahoma they are for the Cohen Clinic. I think that's something that gets the message that gets sent across the nation. Day in and day out, we hear the message that Cohen Clinic is doing great things, and we are going to continue to do great things as much as we possibly can. But with that being said, Natasha, what's your take on this question as well?
Well, what I do for my mental health is that I personally, after having years of therapy, because multiple deployments, 4 deployments, you know, dual military was my existence. It was a lot of stress. And then, like he said, when he took off the uniform, not having 100+ people needing my services, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I solicited a life coach and regained what goals I wanted to do, and they helped me stay accountable for those. And then also, I love to work out. And so that's one of the things that I do. I like to get out in nature and, you know, just walk so that I can reground myself, because my love language is acts of service, but I can't pour from an empty cup. And a lot of times we just do. And then you're just so depleted and you don't even realize it until it's too late. And so that's one of the things that I am really grateful for the Stephen A. Cohen Clinic about, because I am a strong advocate when I'm out on my outreach missions to tell people of all the wonderful services, the life skills classes that they can get into if they're not quite ready for therapy, and the therapy classes that we offer. Hey, you can jump on that telehealth for your lunch break and get some services done and hop right off and go right back to work. And we see kids. A lot of parents don't know that, but we see kids, and it's you don't have to worry about if you've got an appointment. Hey, I've got 3 kids. If you've got 3 kids, we've got in-house childcare services for you. So bring those kids, come to your appointment. We try to eliminate all these barriers. And that's one of the great things about the clinic, is that if there's a barrier and we can eliminate it so that you can become the best you can be, that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just everybody that we work with in our clinic, it's just 100% teamwork, wanting to make sure that everybody gets to the best place they can be. And you know, it's not always about, you know, I know there's veterans out there that are saying, hey, you know what, I don't. At Cohen Veterans Network, we're never going to let that be a barrier. We're going to take care of you any way we can. If we can't see you, we'll find somebody that can. We're going to help you get in that direction, but I'll be darned if we can't do everything we can in our power to make sure we get you the help you need. So we strive to do that. We strive to take care of every individual. And I think it's all about starting one person at a time myself. You know, I can go into a big group and talk about what we do, but honestly, it's really literally one person at a time. So I think that this is a great opportunity. I hope that we've answered some questions for some people today. I feel like we've touched on some things that maybe people didn't think about before, but we want you to know that we're here to help. We're here to give you anything and everything we can to make you better and point you in the right direction. So before I close it out, Taylor, Natasha, is there anything you want to say before we close this out?
Natasha, go ahead. I'll finish if you want me to.
Well, I saw a lot of questions asking about, do we have phone numbers? And so since we're in Facebook world and I don't know exactly where you're calling from, I can give the information for San Antonio, and maybe as we go around, you can give the information for your locations as well. But if you're looking for services, you can always go to saclinic@endeavors.org for the San Antonio clinic, or you can go www.endeavors. You can also call 210-399-4838. And the phones are manned 24 hours a day for our location. So we will get back to you within a 72-hour time span. And I would just say, you are the only you have. So make sure that you take the best care of you that you possibly can. And it starts with your mental health, because everything starts with a thought, which then is attached to a feeling, which then is attached to an action. So if your thoughts are not good, then nothing will be good. And that is what we're here to ensure.
Taylor, did you have anything you wanted to say before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. That was sort of hard to follow up right there, Natasha. You knocked that out the park. We are super grateful to be in Oklahoma, and with the services that we provide, telehealth right now, we're average distance of somewhere between 50 and 60 miles from our clinic. So to be able to serve all the Oklahomans in our state is phenomenal, and we're just proud that we can provide those great services of marriage counseling, family counseling, children's behavioral counseling, and of course all those individual counseling of depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. We're proud to be part of the veteran community and proud to serve the veteran community. And I know Amanda Pickens is on here, and she's a great partner of ours up in Tulsa, and I'm appreciative of that. So thanks, Amanda, for showing up. And if anybody needs services from our clinic, we are the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Red Rock in Lawton, Oklahoma. You can find our services on the Cohen webpage or at redrock.com, Cohen Clinic. And if you have a desire for our services, you can reach out for us at 580-771-2662. And you can always reach out and get a hold of me. I'm always available. That's what we do, is outreach folks.
Absolutely. Thank you guys, Natasha, Taylor. I really appreciate the time you guys spent with me today, being able to talk about these questions, and wanted to point out that there are national hotlines that you can call. They may have already been mentioned in the chat, but you have the National Veterans Crisis Hotline, which you can call at any time if you're in need and you need help and you need to be pointed in a good direction. That's at 1-800-273-8255, and make sure to push option 1. You also have the National Women's Veterans Hotline, which is 855-829-6636. And then there's also the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 800-799-7233. Those hotlines are there to help. They're very discreet. They're going to put you in a great position to get you the help you need. But me working at the Cohen Military Family Clinic at Valley Cities in Lakewood, Washington, I couldn't be more proud and happy. I work next to one of the second largest Army base in the entire country, and we are extremely busy, but I can't tell you exponentially the great work that we do at that clinic and across the nation that CVN as a whole does to help as many veterans, family members.
Did Ron freeze?
I think so. He froze on the closing remarks. Well, so I think we just go ahead and finish up here if we've lost Ron. And I think on behalf of Cohen Veterans Network, that Natasha, Ron, and I are so thankful that we could be part of this forum, and hopefully the information that we provided was fantastic. What do you think, Natasha?
I hope that we have said something that will trigger someone if they're ever on the fence of whether they want to get help or not, that they reach out, because it is not a weakness. It is a sign of strength to know that sometimes everyone needs a shoulder to lean on, and and it's good to have evidence-based professionals who can give you that shoulder. Friends and family are great, but sometimes you need a subject matter expert to help you.
Absolutely.
So it has been a pleasure, Mr. Taylor.
Absolutely. So thank you, everybody, for joining.